Before we do the pledge, Mr. Tucker wanted me to read this card to the board. Thank you for all for the beautiful wind chime in memory of my sister Kitty. Also, thank you for the condolences, phone calls, text, and visitations. You're welcome. Thank you. With that, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Rico.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Special recognitions and presentations are next, and we have 3 tonight. First up, the Young Writers Contest winners. Ms. Steller?
Yeah, we have several students that participated in the West Virginia Young Writers, and this is a contest that's been going on. If you've been around the school system for a while, it's something that's been going on for quite a while, really since 1984. And so we've always been fortunate in Harrison County to have students that have participated and show off their skills in writing. So we have several of them here tonight, and we would like to recognize them. I believe I have Stephanie Runyon, our elementary ELA curriculum specialist, that will help present the writers with their awards. So we'll go ahead and do that. And before I forget, I want to say thank you to our parents and families that's been able to attend tonight and bring your students in. Okay, it's always a big deal. So we'll recognize anybody who'd like to come up. You want to
go for it?
Okay.
No. Oh. Okay. We have prizes.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for coming. C.S. Lewis once said, "You can make anything by writing." Well, when you think about what Mr. Lewis did and how he was responsible for creating Narnia and turning a piece of furniture, a wardrobe, into one of my favorites, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, then we know that he did just that. Through his vision, imagination, and determination, and perseverance as a writer, he made a world of magic and mystery for us as readers. Tonight, we are here to honor our student writers who have indeed made something by writing. So please join me in honoring our Harrison County winners of the West Virginia Young Writers Contest. For grades 1 and 2, we have Lucia Scalise for her story, What's a Penguin Anyway? She is St. Mary's Grade School, and her teacher is Mrs. Hyde.
Okay.
And the principal is Mrs. Cavilla.
Okay. She's not there.
Okay, sorry. Here's her.
Okay.
Yep, that's hers. Okay. For our 3rd and 4th grade category.
Can you speak in?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. First time, sorry. Okay. For 3rd and 4th grade, I would like to honor Hattie Trimble from Big Elm Elementary School. Hattie's story. I get her story. Hattie's story was The Lonely Light Bulb, and she is a 4th grade student at Big Elm Elementary School. Her teacher is Mrs. Heinzman, and the principals at Big Elm are Mr. Powell and Ms. Jones.
We have Mr. Powell and Ms. Jones here. I'm going to read her certificate since she's the first one. You might as well read. No? All right, the Harrison County Board of Education recognizes Hattie Trimble for outstanding achievement in academics as a 2023 Harrison County Young Writers Contest winner. And it has all the board member names on here. We have Mr. Hamrick, President, Mr. Devano, Vice President, Mr. Hogue, member, Mary Frances Smith, member, and William Tucker, member, and there's my name as a superintendent. So congratulations, we're so proud of you. Do you want to do a picture?
We'll do a big group picture.
Oh, with everybody.
Yep,
And
with
who do you
everybody.
have here?
My mom and my other mom.
Very nice. So congratulations to Hattie. Thank you.
For our 5th and 6th grade category, we have Lucia Ruby for her story, Darkness. Lucia is a 5th grade student at Simpson Elementary School. Her teacher is Ms. Jedresco, and her principal is Mrs. Steele.
When they're here, right? We wanted to present the certificate of achievement to Lucia Ruby from the Harrison County Board of Education for outstanding achievement in academics as a 2023 Harrison County Young Writers Contest winner. So congratulations. Mom and Dad's back there? All right, there we go. So we'll get a picture at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, for grades 7 and 8, our winner is Vincent Teeter for his story, The Hunter or the Beast. Vincent is an 8th grade student at South Harrison Middle School. His teacher is Miss Totten and his principal is Mr. Kino.
I told him I don't know what's in the gift bag. I don't think it's aftershave or anything. It might be something you can do. Harrison County Board of Education recognizes Vincent Teeter for outstanding achievement in academics as a 2023 Harrison County Young Writers Contest winner for tonight's board meeting. So congratulations, Vincent. And who did you bring? All right, hi, Mom and Dad.
Our 9th and 10th grade winner is Elami Dodd for her story, Beautiful and Innocent Creatures. She is from Bridgeport High School and her teacher is Miss Lemon. Okay. And our 11th and 12th grade winner is Amelia Hughes for her story, An Uninvited Guest. Yep. Amelia is a 12th grade student at VHS. Her teacher is Miss Lemon and principal is Mr. DeMont.
How are you? I'll have to look up. Certificate of Achievement for Amelia Hughes from the Harrison County Board of Education for outstanding achievement in academics as a 2023 Harrison County Young Writers Contest. Congratulations. Thank you. My mom right up. Right here. I love her.
Each student received an invitation to attend the Young Writers Day that will be held in Charleston on May 5th. The keynote speaker at this event is going to be West Virginia author Homer Hickam, who wrote October Sky. Information about this event is in the envelope that you received this evening. Parents, my contact information, email, and office phone is at the bottom of the letter. Please let me know if you and your child are going to attend by Friday, March 31st. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. This is the first time that I've ever been the coordinator for the county, and I've had a wonderful time, and I'm just so proud of all the writers that we have here tonight, so thank you so much. Can we have our young writers come to the front?
Your certificate? Yep. I think she should be too. Let's go.
Okay.
You guys want to? No?
They'll be in the background.
Teams all the way around. Anybody teams all the way around.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Congratulations.
I have a question. Superintendent Sutler, I have a question. Where would we be able to read these stories? And would it be worthwhile to maybe post these stories on our website if they're not already there?
A few of them have actually taken the time. Miss Hattie here is one of them, taking the time to do YouTube videos where they have actually read the story, and it is up on our YouTube now.
Okay, excellent. Perfect.
And can we maybe get the others? Do you have copies of the ones that our winners can publish?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
We
when
can
that, because it goes on to the state competition. I don't know if I can release them yet.
Oh,
We may need
okay.
to, but afterwards,
Okay.
I'm sure we can put them on our
Yes, we
website.
will.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, very nice. We want to share all of that. Thank you for coming. If you brought your students, we always love having you, and this is what we're here for. It's for our kids. So thank you for coming in, and then also for the principals that were able to come and sharing this with their students. So, all right. Thank you.
No problem.
Right, yeah. I don't want to do that, yeah. Great, good luck.
All right, next up, Music in Our Schools Month proclamation from the governor. And Ms. Smith, since you were a music teacher, you want to read the proclamation?
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, because it's small. Proclamation by Governor Jim Justice.
Whereas for more than 30 years, March has officially been designated by the National Association of Music Education as Music in Our Schools Month, encouraging communities across the nation to focus on music education. And whereas music education is part of a well-rounded education for every student, as outlined in Every Student Succeeds Act. And whereas, how appropriate that we have music in the background. Whereas the purpose of this celebration is to raise awareness of the lasting positive impact of music education on the academic, personal, and professional growth of our students. And whereas music education shapes the way of our students understand themselves and the world around them, allowing for deep engagement with learning. And whereas Music in Our Schools Month reminds us that school is where all children should have access to music. And whereas music educators, students, and communities throughout West Virginia demonstrate the importance of quality music education programs to the lives of young people. And whereas the state of West Virginia joins our music students, educators, and communities in celebrating the power of music education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jim Justice, Governor of the great state of West Virginia, do hereby proclaim March 2023 as Music in Our Schools Month in the Mountain State, and encourage all citizens to join me in this observance to celebrate and acknowledge every day, but especially in March, that music education is an essential part of every student's well-rounded education. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the state of West Virginia to be affixed. Done at the Capitol, City of Charleston, State of West Virginia, this 18th day of January in the year of our Lord, 2023, and in the 160th year of the state. Jim Justice, Governor. Matt Warner, Secretary of State.
The only other thing I'd like to say is our music educators and music students will be at our April 4th meeting. The
18th.
Oh, April 18th. Oh, okay. So we had to kind of delay, or they would have been here for the March meeting, but so they attended all state choir, band, orchestra. All those events usually happen in March. So they will be with us. Second meeting in April.
Well, also in March, we do have the Region 10 Band Festival.
That's right.
So it looks like the Bridgeport Middle School site and the Bridgeport High School site, both March 29th and 30th, beginning at 8:30 on both days.
It was a fun reading of that. It was even interactive.
Thank you.
Music in the middle. Brings us down to item C, elementary data update, curriculum, and student achievement. I believe Ms. Mancini is.
Yes.
Mr. Dorico is going to hand you a folder. There are lots of things in there. I'll go through as much as I think you need. If you have more questions or want to see more, that'd be fine. But if you would start off on the left-hand side, it's a bright blue piece of paper. I wanted to show you, we look at iReady, and that is the data we have to go from right now. But I sort of wanted to show you, and it's last year's end of the year results, but to show you how iReady correlates, sometimes wonderfully, sometimes not quite as much, but the categories, what I want you to see is the categories are not the exact same. So if you're looking at the first one, elementary iReady, the green is at level, but on the summative assessment, green and blue, or green is at level and blue is exceeds. But then when you get to the yellow is when the craziness sort of happens for us. The yellow on iReady says we are 1 grade below level. Yellow on summative means that they partially met the standard. They could have missed that by 1 question and 3 points, or 75 points and 20 questions, just depending on the value of the question. So, and then when you get to red, summative is they did not meet that standard. But red on iReady says 2 or more grade levels below. So we're comparing apples to apples, but we're calling them different things, I guess is the way maybe to say that. I'm not sure. But if you would look, the first ELA 3rd grade, iReady said we'd have 55% of our kids proficient. We only had 37. But then when you go to 4th grade, 41% iReady said proficient. We really did 44. 34 on 5th grade and 40. And as you go across, you can see those differences. I think some of the thing with 3rd grade is they have taken iReady for 2 years previous, sometimes 3, kindergarten. They're used to it. That is the first year they see anything on the summative. Your 4th and 5th graders have a little more experience with that. But it is also what we're teaching, how we're teaching, and how well we're doing. So that's just a little glimpse at last year, just to show you the difference.
Last year, based on
Last year's scores.
Okay.
Now, the pink sheet behind that has, if you're comparing last year's middle of the year iReady to this year's. 3rd grade, we were 48% last year, 50 this year. We've come up a little. 4th grade, we went from 31 to 36. 5th grade, from 28 to 30. Math, 21 to 23, 23 to 30, and 5th grade, 24 to 30. So we're coming up. It's just not where we want it to be. And I think there's where we have to look. We have to see what we're going to do next. So if you'll look on the right-hand side, first thing I gave you was, and I'll just run through these as quick as I can, and then I'll take questions or whatever you would like. But for the kindergarten ELA, the green, which is what we want for kindergarten, went up and the yellow went down. You don't have red because they don't have anything to compare to for iReady, so there's no way to even look at that kindergarten. If you look at the 1st grade, the next one, green went up, red went down. That's what we want to see. 2nd grade, green went up, red went down. 3rd grade, green went up, red went down. Red stayed about the same, I'm sorry, on that 3rd grade one. 4th grade, green went up, red went down. 5th grade, green went up and red went down. So we're showing that we are making progress, but is that still, again, where we want to be? If you look at the next one, it's going to be the same thing for math. Kindergarten, green went up. 1st grade, green went up, red went down. 2nd grade, green went up, red went down. Same thing for 3rd. Same thing for 4th. And 5th, green went up, red stayed close to the same, a little bit down, not enough. So, and behind that is each individual school score for you to look at whenever you would like. But I sort of think now the question is, what do we do about this? And we have to have a plan, and we're working on certain things, and we still have some things to go. So what I see, and as a curriculum team, we need time for the teachers to be able to click on that yellow, see what those kids are missing, and differentiate or reteach within the classroom. Sometimes it's that one standard, sometimes it's 10. There's where we need time for our teachers, and you've graciously given them some data day time that we could always use more. Also, with the principals, clicking on this to see who the students are in what classroom to support those teachers more, whether it's going in, whether it's modeling for them, helping support them, whether it's getting support from us. That's the other thing we have is Stephanie Runyon, who you just met, goes out for ELA. Karen Freeland goes for math. They are concentrating, Stephanie, on writing, mostly for the older grades. She's still doing it in the younger, but phonics and phonemic awareness in the lower grades. Karen is out working on math fluency, getting kids to know automatically facts, so when they go to a harder problem or a thinking problem, that they are not going back and saying 3 times 3 is, they're not saying 3 times 3 is 9, they'd be saying 3 times 3, 9. We want them to say 9 quickly. So when you go to do division, it makes things easier for you. When you get to middle school, when you're doing a harder concept, it's there for you, automatic. The same with phonics and phonemic awareness. We have to get those in their head before we go on to other things. And that's where we need to back up and do some basic things. So Karen and Stephanie are both out doing that. We have found that not everywhere in the county do teachers want to use the materials we're giving them. We are going to enforce that they do. We have Wonders. It has many things that align with the science of reading that are phonics and phonemic awareness type of activities. We need to use those, not look for things elsewhere. Same thing with everyday math. We need to do that. They're working there, but the next largest thing we found is that they need to prioritize which teachers they're going to. And our 1st to 3rd year teachers need that support. They need somebody going in, modeling, showing them. And it really comes down sometimes to not just the math instruction or the reading instruction, it's classroom management. It's anything they can help with as they're there. So that's what we have them doing. We are targeting those 1st to 3rd year teachers and teachers who have maybe taught high school for 15 years, but then have an elementary degree and went and taught 2nd grade. They need support. Sometimes they don't think they do. They do. And when we find somebody who doesn't need that support, who's doing wonderful, we'll move on to the next one. We're just going to keep expanding that, but we had to target somewhere, or it was just sort of throwing spaghetti to the wall and see what sticks. So we are doing a more specific plan. And the last thing is we are going to work, as the state is doing, with the science of reading, going back to phonemic awareness and phonics. We need a trainer from outside. We're looking for that now. Jenna Williams, who was the last specialist, listens to every podcast there ever was. I'm reading everything I can. We're trying to find somebody that can come in and teach the neuroscience of that to us so we understand why we're changing. I mean, this pendulum keeps going back and forth. Nobody wants to change, but when you need to, you need to. So we have to show them why we need to. There has to be a need, and we have to be able to train and retrain people who haven't taught phonics for a long time or have just taught a little piece of it. So we're backing up, sort of, I don't want to say starting over because we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we are going to do basic skills and make sure they have them before we keep moving forward. The data changes, will change, and that's just sort of how I'm looking at that. Any questions?
So when you're saying that not forcing teachers to use, but suggesting strongly,
Well, we need them to use research-based things and
additional to what they're doing,
yes,
not
listen,
forcing
it's,
them.
yes, not taking away a teacher's craft. They should be able to make things fun and do things. You can do that and still teach that there are 3 sounds in cat, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we went wrong somewhere along the way when I knew there was a problem when you went, ice cream. So I don't know what that's called because I'm not elementary, but at the same time.
Open court?
Open court, that's it, thank you. I knew there was a problem, but I think it was, as you said, about as far as memorizing multiplication tables so that they can actually quickly divide. I think that's the same thing with phonics.
It is.
I honestly believe in phonics because that's how you learn to spell.
Right.
How do you sound out a word? So I'm glad to see that we're going back to more phonics-based education in our elementary schools. I do have one question.
Sure.
I noticed that as opposed to middle school and high school, where we had large percentages of students 2 to 3 or more grade levels below their grade level, not so much here in the elementary. What's the trick? How maybe we can share that with the middle school and the high school, because it doesn't seem like that happens here as I'm just looking. I don't know if it's because they're elementary and they do what they're told. I don't know if that's the case.
That's a half and half on that one.
But
They used to do that.
I don't know if there's any tricks you're using that can be shared, that can be modified for middle school and high schoolers. But I would appreciate you sharing that with them.
Okay.
And second, I noticed there are 2 schools specifically that are above the 30% in reading and math. Is there a reasoning for that? Do you know, or
There are
what?
multiple reasons sometimes for that. I mean, it all stems back to a good teacher and someone who is looking to see what their students need.
Mhm.
So giving them that time was one of the things to be able to look, and iReady is just one of them. There are teachers who cannot use iReady and know what kids need what group and what thing. So that is not the end all be all, but it is something to help those who don't. I don't think there's, I'll be honest, for me in a classroom, I don't think there's a substitute for a good teacher, no matter how. And some kids are going to learn even if it's not great.
Right, but we don't know why just well, this is the whole school.
Mhm.
There were 2 that I just quickly looked at that
I
aren't.
think I know your 2. Yeah.
And that are higher than the
Yes.
other ones. And I don't know if it can't be the whole staff, since it's the school, but at the same time, I don't know if you've pinpointed what that reasoning might.
Not
yet.
specifically, no. But I'd say it's a multitude.
Could be expectations.
Yeah, it could be any, I mean, there's a multitude of reasons, but it's all a good set of factors that go together to get that.
Right.
So we need to replicate that other places.
Exactly.
And maybe it is them.
Especially these 2 schools.
Mhm.
And I was thinking that if you could look at that and maybe see
Right, well, maybe use
what
those
they're not
teachers for
doing that the other
mentors.
ones are.
Yeah, help.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all I have.
That is something that we talk about. You look at where things are happening, then
How do you
things are going
share?
in the right direction, and
Yes.
try to mirror that and bring
It
that
is.
to somewhere else instead of
Yes.
reinventing.
Yeah, elementary teachers are not the ones who want to toot their own horn, though. I can tell you that.
Not generally.
But they don't mind passing it on either, you know what
No,
I
They
they love
share,
to share.
yes,
mean? Yeah.
but they don't like to be the expert
Right.
because it's, I don't know what, yeah,
One thing,
More
there's many
humble.
other things to do.
right. In that 45-minute planning.
Elementary.
All right,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? It looks like he was going to ask something.
No,
No,
I'm good.
no,
Question?
okay.
Other questions? Move on delegations. Do we have any delegations? No delegations. Superintendent's update, Ms. Stutler?
Sure, we have a few things. Mr. Lopez is actually out sick today, but we had a bid opening today for the Robert C. Byrd High roof. We had 3 great bids, and they're actually, McKinley's taking those back, and they're looking, I guess the scopes of the bids were a little different, and they want to make sure that they're comparing apples to apples, and they'll bring that to the next, we'll have that on the next agenda, and they actually came in lower than anticipated, which was a great thing. I talked with Danny after the bid openings. He was really pleased because it looks to me like the project's maybe going to come in lower. So I don't know whether that's because prices have gone down or they did estimate them on the higher end, so maybe that's what makes us happy because then we have high number and then they came in. So that was a good thing. I talked with the John Jeffers, the gentleman that's kind of the point person for McKinley. And he said that he would have those ready for us on April the 4th for a recommendation. The other piece is we'll be getting a contract soon from Kaufman Real Estate. We're looking at putting Adamson out here. It'll be in the next week to bid Adamson out. We had a group there from Victory. I don't know whether you're familiar. We're looking for the time capsule from the class of 1973. So we wanted to give them the opportunity to try to find
And they
it.
don't know where it's at.
No, and they're not quite sure where it is, so I've had some nice conversations with the class, and I think I've met about 12 from the class of 1973 from Victory. And we've had different reports that it's a metal time capsule, so we've had a metal detector there, one of the big $5,000 ones that'll get down deep, and we've not been able to locate it. So anyway, it looks like we're gonna put it up for sale, and the time capsule's gonna go with it, I think. That's my only conclusion. We're still trying, I think. They're gonna try one more attempt. Danny was there, and they've been 3 different attempts, so we can't dig up the whole place before we sell it.
The map to the contest was in the contest.
So we think it may
Class of
be under
73
the
might
road. You know, we put in the Victory Lane. So anyway, so just a little fun fact. But that will be going out for auction. And then we also have 2 of the pro houses. That's the one at Bird and the one at Liberty will be going out for auction. We're still working with the gentleman at Big Elm. He's looking for a place to move his because he owns that one. And still determining what we'll do with the one at South Harrison. So we should get the Adamston contract and the 2 pro houses this week, at the end of the week, and then it'll be going out shortly. The other update, I think we alluded to this maybe a month or so ago, that the state is changing the way we're bidding or doing candidate bids and the processes. We currently use Talent Ed. The state is requiring that all 55 counties go to Frontline, which I believe 6 or 7? 7 counties were only using Frontline, but now we all have to use Frontline. So Ms. Leesburg had to go for a 2-day training, and you could just give us an update. I really haven't heard. She was there today with, I think David went, and you brought Connie Baker, correct, from her department. So can you give us an overview of what this is looking like?
Well, it's a new application system. It has a lot of promising aspects to it. It's going to be a learning curve, so to speak, and a lot of front-loading information. Tentatively, they're wanting to start implementing this May 1st. We'll see. A lot of education and communication with our staff and employees about, creating their new profiles and everything. I think it's doable. It'll be a task, but we're up for it. We're very fortunate that the county is familiar with technology. They're already using the system, so teaching them and training them how to implement a new system is going to be much easier than some others that this is the first introduction to technology application system. So we're ahead of the game, even though there's going to be a learning curve and there's going to be change. I think that we're going to be fortunate to where we're going to be able to adapt quickly.
I think every employee under Talent Ed, you go in and set up a profile, then
Yes.
you can just bid. So that will be the thing that all the employees will have to get in there to set up a whole new profile.
And this is
Correct.
to also help with recruiting and also to help applicants throughout the entire state. It's going to be,
Everybody's jobs will be available
Right.
statewide all the
and so
time.
that you
That's
can
that's
bid
their
in
vision.
one application system throughout the state. So, and there's a recruiting tool that I know David was able to witness today, which is exciting, to be able to implement that as well, to help out with filling positions. That's what we need. So there's a lot of good parts to it.
Is this all professional and
Yes,
personal?
but.
And,
Posting numbers, there's little things like that that'll be, they set the
There's gonna be a
posting
change.
number.
Yeah,
We don't,
now we can't
yeah,
create our own posting numbers.
so those kind of things, I mean, it's a requirement, so we're gonna do it and
Right.
we'll make it work.
When you're saying
That's what we
posting
do.
numbers, are you meaning the number that can apply or the
Yeah.
posting numbers?
The number itself, like
Okay.
because we used to do it by the
Yeah.
days and whether it be professional service, extracurricular, that's all going to be generated through the Frontline program. And since it's a statewide program, it's just kind of like potluck, so to speak. And so that's just going to be a difference of how we do that, but there's going to be a way that we can also, throughout our county, be able to get them in the right order for our county specifically, so.
Do you have any update on the personnel letters, transfer letters? Do you know what the total will be about? It's not very many, I know.
No, we only
We
have
just determined
probably, I'd say about 4 service. I think we're looking at about 4 or 5 professional and 3 alignment letters. So, and majority are well aware. There might be a couple that we have to talk with and give them options, but the others are well aware of what.
We were waiting on our title funding to see how we needed to adjust title position. So I think we're in good shape there as far as personnel season.
Yes, we're very fortunate.
Uh, the-
Especially speaking with other.
Yeah, the other thing.
No hearings yet.
I don't foresee any, but you never know.
We have
I don't foresee
none. You've done a great job.
The only other thing, Mr. Snyder is working with South Harrison High School to work on that secure entrance at the high school. So I know he's been talking with the architect, and I think we're going to be able to do that with very minimal funding. I think maintenance is going to be able to go in, and it's going to be minimal other than ordering the
That's
yeah, the pass-through door, some safety glass. So I think it's going to be a minimal cost, and they'll be able to complete that. The only other thing is I saw Mr. Dorico gave us all a copy of the calendar. So this might be a time that you can, it was approved, state approved.
Correct.
I didn't have that on mine, but I think you all received copies of our state approved calendar.
I had a question.
Yeah.
If,
Oh, no, this was for graduations. Signing up for graduations.
Oh,
Yeah, no, sorry.
What he passed out was for Mrs. Mancini.
Miss Mancini, yeah.
He didn't give us.
I saw that, and I thought we had copies of the
Yeah, that was
calendar.
graduation.
Yes.
It has been approved though, yes.
I saw that, and I thought everybody got copies, so I apologize.
No.
No wonder you were
is
looking
there
at
any
me.
way, is there a way? to
It
go
was
back, even though
approved
it's
by the
approved
superintendent.
state, to make, is there any way to go back and make changes now? If you thought about it?
He's
What
thinking.
kind of changes we want?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be perfectly upfront, is, spring break. I thought maybe we could look at changing this, spring break date, because it's always at the Easter time. And if we could maybe take spring break and maybe do, Thursday and Monday for Easter break, and look at doing the spring break the week of the boys state basketball tournament, because there's so many people that take off and go, there's just not enough subs for coverage. And me, I'm retired, I was there all week, and if I would have wrote down everybody I saw was there, like I said, I think it puts really a burden.
We did have staffing issues,
There were major
especially
staffing
Wednesday,
issues. And I
Thursday,
just-
Friday.
And another thing is, you have the boys state tournament, and if they go for the whole tournament, that's a week, 5 to 6 days, and then you turn around 2 weeks later, you're on spring break, and it's a week. I don't know, I just thought, and, that would be something for you all to talk, and you don't like that idea of mine, this year, maybe look into it
For the
next year when you do the calendar. So, because usually we have representatives of Harrison County in the state tournament. This year we had 2, and we had everybody there. I mean, there was a huge contingency from Bridgeport, and they was there, a lot of them for the whole week, and there was a large contingency from South Harrison, and I saw a lot of them who stayed afterwards.
We can take a look at what you're saying. I don't know if I can fix the calendar for next school year with the way you'd like for it to be fixed. But we can have some discussions, look at options, and definitely look at it a year from now.
Okay, I just know it would help with the being able to have our school,
Yeah, I understand.
And one of the moving targets there is that Easter's not always the same.
I had to go find it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Easter's not the same every year, so it gets.
The tournament's the same, right? Same week.
Tournament's
every
the
year.
Yeah, tournaments.
But Easter
Yeah.
moves, so.
Yeah.
It would take a day. I mean, I just, for what it's worth, I mean, I'm retired, I can go to the state tournament and enjoy it, but like I said, I could see the staffing wise with this.
They just do a lot of events those 2 weeks. I mean, they have conferences going on. It's interesting. That's all I have for superintendent's update.
The only thing I'll say, and I've said it before we finish superintendent's update, on that, the secure entrance at South Harrison, and the fact that we can't save money with our maintenance. I say it all the time, is we have 24, 25 buildings, and we have that many maintenance people, and our maintenance people really do a good job, better than can be expected. They really should be double in their size, but the fact that they're able to maintain our buildings and do things like that on top of it's a credit to them. We have a great
Actually,
maintenance
Danny
department.
told me today that they'll be finished with the meat packing plant, his carpenters, and he said early next week, they're just waiting on the freezer, because the freezer was delayed, but he said they were able to get in there, and the money that they saved on that project's unreal.
Yeah.
With our maintenance guys, they pretty much.
And not letting the rest of the.
Oh, yeah, if you get a
Yeah,
chance to
and not
go
letting the rest of
over.
the buildings get behind. I mean,
To
they
see that.
really stay on top of
And
it.
that's why I think, looking at it, we need to add more personnel
Well,
in.
I think our problems right now are because they're specialized in HVAC folks and all that, and they're not, just with everything. They've not kept up with what the state, with what the private sector's paying.
Exactly. I mean,
So that's the problem. We can add the position, doesn't mean we'll
And
be
finding carpenters.
filled. Yeah.
Well, if you add somebody, and then if there's a lot of project going, then a person can go help with the HVAC guy.
You just can't do that.
They can-
I mean, that's the problem. They have to be specialized and they have to be certified in that thing. And, that's the problem we run into, is because you can't just have general maintenance as much anymore. They have to be specialized in that. And then, if there's no HVAC work, you really can't move those to, either to something else easily, like in the private sector. But at the same time, we haven't kept up, the state hasn't kept up the pay for those specialized. Our electricians can make a lot more out in the private sector. Our HVAC folks, they all can. And that's what we're running into. Is years ago, I got on with the school board and they were set. Now, private sector is going to offer them 20,000 more to leave.
This is the first year that we've done, utilized substitutes. We created a substitute list for maintenance, and Danny has been really appreciative because he's been able to call in retired, but
I was just gonna say, it wasn't because of our county wanted to diminish those numbers from 52 to 26. That's a formula, I'm sure, from the state, right? I mean, that we ended up having to give up as many as we did over the
Yeah,
years.
It's just attrition and all that. And I think there were some years back where we didn't. I mean, that was probably on the county.
We carried
years ago,
some
before we were here.
Mhm.
I think that maybe for several years they didn't keep up, and also for several years, before we came on board, I was amazed when I was taken down there to see the age of our vehicles in maintenance. I mean, they were driving 20-year-old vans, 25-year-old vans, so we've made been aggressive in that, trying to get those up over the years. I mean, for years here, it blew me away that for vehicles, for the entire county, it was something like $40,000 in the budget. But if the superintendent needed a vehicle, came out of that 40,000, or someone else in the central office, that was the pool of money. So it always got used up, so you didn't get the bucket truck, you didn't get the things you needed. So we've
speaking
added
of a
to that.
bucket truck, he needs a bucket truck.
We've added to that.
That'll be on their wish list.
And especially if you think about that, when we only have that many people, it means that someone's doing a little bit of extra work, and we need to make sure that our equipment's up so those folks are not getting hurt. That's the last thing we need.
But a lot of times, when Vic Gabriel was there, he could purchase down at the
Auctions.
auction house, you know, and they got a lot of
They're
nice
actually
vehicles
looking
through
at
there.
a
I don't know
bunch.
whether we're, have anybody there
Yeah,
that's
that's
able to
what.
do that. I mean, instead of maybe always having to buy new, could buy a good used, you know.
I think they're going.
That's
I
what
think
they're looking
they're
for
going.
a bucket truck is at the auction.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, especially if you're understaffed, you want to make sure you're not understaffed and under-equipped.
Yes.
So that's all I have to say.
Well, I was gonna say, all I know is in the old days, the maintenance guys came out and they might be a carpenter, they might be an electrician, they might be a plumber, and they all worked together
Yeah.
and crossed over, and then usually they brought a dummy with them, and had that dummy helping them, you know, do this and all, and they weren't supposedly certified in any area, they just, you know, go do this or go do that.
Extra help.
They just, right, it was the
Harder to do.
right guy.
Anything further?
I would like a comment and question.
Sure.
In regards to the data that you supplied us, you had mentioned that you're looking for an outside agency or trainer or something along those lines. Well, ironically enough, there's that group that you mentioned neuroscience.
Yeah.
Science and neuroscience, it's called 95% group.
Oh, yeah. We've had it before.
Yes, they are working in, I think, Ritchie County. I mentioned it, I think, last time. That's one of those situations where you can reach out and they're, I think, approved state vendors already. And it might be an opportunity for them to come in and at least give us an evaluation or at least give us some kind of information as to what they can offer us to help us get back on that science reading path.
Okay.
So,
And just to piggyback on evaluation and information, do we have an update on the information like for the operational staff survey? Do we have anything? As an
The
update.
last conversation we had, I had about
Sorry.
the staff survey,
oh,
15 questions. I
Yeah.
never have been able to get
I
those.
couldn't, for some reason, it doesn't
I
come
think
through.
it
I
blocked
think there's,
some.
yeah.
He had a.
I had a
company
survey that I was trying to send her.
Can you screenshot them, the
I
questions?
Maybe
I
we can
can
write them
try.
down.
Well, I tried to forward it to her a couple times, but once I take the survey and I go in, it
Eliminate.
registers it. So,
They were really great
yeah,
questions.
I'll see
mean,
if I can get it again.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm with you. I think
Yeah.
we should do something along those lines.
probably, it was like 15
It was
questions.
15
he
questions,
said,
yep.
and
it
He read
was-
some of them to me, I mean, they're just good
Mhm.
questions.
Yeah.
That we could.
I just think it's a good follow-up from the school climate survey.
Mhm.
I know you had mentioned, but they've already registered for the
Yeah,
one in
we're
the spring.
doing those. It's
which
not-
is
next
okay
year
because
we'll- yeah.
We still had several schools who didn't register reports
Mhm.
because either they didn't have enough staff for it to report.
Yeah. And
So
they'll
it'd
able
be nice to
compare
get,
what they have.
yeah, and it'd be nice to actually, maybe we can encourage those schools to actually encourage their staff or teachers to actually complete the survey. There were 3 or 4 of them that did not, that I
You
didn't.
had to have at least 10.
Yeah.
To get a report.
And looking at some of the 3 or 4 of the schools that didn't generate a teacher survey results, I find that's kind of disturbing a little bit that we didn't have at least 10 teachers at 4 or 5 of our schools.
We were thinking.
To not complete.
Put that out if we get those 15 questions.
I'll
They could
I'll
come
work
back
on,
to-
yeah,
yeah.
I'll work on that.
We don't want to-
Screenshot each one.
No, I won't hand
I
it.
see your handwriting.
You don't want my handwriting.
Anything further?
You don't want my
No,
handwriting.
I'm good.
I'll get it to
All
you.
right, that moves us shorthand.
Yeah, well, it's something hand. It begins with an S, but it may not be short.
That moves us down to approval of consent items. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve consent items.
Is there a second?
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I just have one.
Okay.
Radon test kits.
Oh, boy.
Where are they going?
Which page are you?
I don't know. There's only 4 little guys on here. Do we know what the radon test kits are
Trying
for?
to see what it's under.
I'm just curious which
West Virginia
schools.
Department of
Probably the
Health.
old ones.
Yeah.
The old schools.
No.
Just have to get it from, what's the amount on there?
It's only
It's
$210. My
$210.
concern was the radon test kits.
I'm trying to think, would
That's
that
okay.
be,
Well, we know we
I'm
need to,
looking at the other things on there, whether that's
well, how about
technical
this? We
center or
know
not.
if there's radon test kits, we need to purchase them for some reason.
Yeah.
So
I
let's-
don't know.
let's approve the
I've
purchase,
never had
But
them.
then have Jimmy to give us. the-
Right, that's fine. My only question was, where are they going?
Okay, we'll get that from
We'll
Jimmy,
find out.
and that won't preclude us.
No, it won't.
And also, Mr. Tucker had a refusal.
Yeah, I just need a
Technical
refusal on
center stuff.
the one reimbursement item there for a one Glenda Tucker.
Noted recusal.
On, I think it's 317 page, well, they're all page 1, but on specifically on 317, there's a loan payment to Summit Community Bank for $48,000.
Which one are you looking at? Are you looking at the vendor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The-
It's 48.
317 is the date. I know, and then you can get back to me on it. Yeah, get back to me on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's the amount of the payment?
Yeah, but
48.
48,
That's probably the guarantee, the ESG guaranteed energy.
Yeah.
I think that may be one of the banks we use.
yeah, just let me know.
I
Could you
will.
get back to us when you
Right
have our
on.
CEO of the finance department?
I will.
All right, anything further?
Those are not hard.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. New business, bus driver promissory note, and they're in front of you, and just so the public knows, because they probably wonder why we do promissory notes to bus drivers. It's hard enough getting bus drivers. We have a good crop of substitute bus drivers, but bus drivers are required to put out a lot of money up front for training, so we then reimburse them for that training once they finish all the mandatory operator training, and then we reimburse them the costs. So that's what those are. There are two in front of you, Steve Hanning and Jason Matheny. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Out-of-state travel, professional leave request and out-of-state travel study request. They're in front of you.
I make a motion to approve both.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Nutter Fort
Oh, wait,
Elementary.
one question, one statement.
Okay.
Your message for the past couple of years has been getting through. We have a trip going to Washington DC on this
I
one.
think we've had two.
We've had two.
That's the
Yes,
Finally,
yes.
after 10 years, I got that before.
Both of them.
Yeah, I've got that before Doug got an ice machine, so I win.
You had to go there.
Nutter Fort,
Derail.
item C, Nutter Fort Elementary Wetlands Funding Request. That's the group that was here last week, and I think he does great work.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Nutter Fort Elementary wetlands funding request.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Under old business, we did have the fiscal year 22 financial statement. I don't know at this point if we want to take that up, ask the questions, or if we want to table it one more time until we have someone in that place to.
The only question I have is when is it due?
It was,
When do we have to have this turned in to the state?
Our financial statement.
Or-
As a,
Yeah,
as a
yes,
colleague.
as a
of another
colleague.
county.
Actually, September 28th was one.
It's already way
Okay,
past you.
all right, so,
Way past.
okay, so.
We're way past
Then
it. We're
let's
like, it
just
doesn't
give us
matter.
another week. Give us another 2 weeks. If we're this far out, give us another 2 weeks.
yeah,
2 more weeks?
It's gotta go past.
To the next.
April 10th. but
Yeah.
It needs to go past April 10th.
This is actually the
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
that's
let's-
being audited at this moment.
Yeah, I know,
We
but
have
I'm just
auditors
saying.
in right now.
So let's do
auditing
it
this
second
financial
meeting in April.
The 18th, yeah.
I mean, I've got a couple questions, but Dora's
Actually,
been
if
good
we-
to help out with
if-
answers already.
Let's just leave it on there as old business because it's tabled. Let's table it again. If there's a motion to table again.
I'll make a
Well,
motion to
we didn't
table
pull-
again.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
motion to table.
Second.
That way it stays on there.
I make a motion, we table the FY 22
And if you
financial.
have any other
You're
questions,
the second, so
if you want to email anything to me,
Mary
I'll get
Frances
those.
first and then
I'll
second.
get them
So
answered.
any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That way, if it's tabled, we don't have to worry about putting it on a specific agenda. If something happened and we were ready at the next time, just carry it over.
Okay.
So brings us down to personnel matters. There in front of you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the personnel agenda as presented by the superintendent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. With that, we did hire a new chief financial officer, I guess.
Here's your financials.
So if
Have
you
it ready
would,
in 2 weeks.
and that's Whitney Kynes, if you would stand up and just tell us about yourself real quick, since you're here.
What do you want to know? I've been in the financial industry for 34 years. I've been in government for 23 of those 34 years. So I'm quite accustomed to the way government works. I worked at Barber County Schools for about 5.5 years. I went to WVU and got my master's in public administration. And from there I went to Lee County and I'm finishing up my 6th year there.
As the same, in the same position. So,
County very similar to our
They are
size.
very similar, yeah.
Our
Very
size.
similar.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward.
Welcome.
Moves us down to board member comments. Mr. Tucker?
Just thank you for the folks who are here and folks who are listening or watching. Appreciate that. Just wish we could fill it up. I know you get tired of me saying that, but anyway.
It was filled a little earlier.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I just want to piggyback on Ms. Mancini's data report and Mrs. Stutler's comment about raising expectations. I know you're probably tired of hearing me, but I'm going to make this as a public address. I would like to address the recent passage of Harrison County's grading policy 2022, focusing specifically on the unsubstantiated statement supporting the theory that student failures are due to final exams, that colleges are no longer giving exams, and that exams bring about test anxiety. These statements only support the absence, in my opinion, of setting, maintaining, and achieving high academic standards for Harrison County schools. At the January 17th, 2023 board meeting, I presented in writing multiple grade scenarios to every board member and the superintendent, where I had personally sat down and calculated almost every grade combination, documenting that a 25% weighted exam does not cause a student to fail a course. I requested that someone show me on paper where failing an exam causes a student to fail the course. To date, no one has yet to have produced any examples to the contrary. The real fact in all cases is that by the time a student has completed 3 6-week grading periods, a total of 18 weeks or 90 days, their grade determination has solely been decided, and the failing grade of a 25% weighted exam is not the sole determining factor in their final grade. In fact, by not weighting the exam 25%, a student is actually prohibited from the opportunity to raise their grade. Therefore, my question to everyone is simply this: what is being done in our schools to hold everyone to a higher standard of academic accountability and responsibility? What is being done during that 18-week period of classroom instruction to identify issues and address student failure before they get to the exam? Of course, that's other than the iReady and the IXL, because as we saw at the last meeting, some of the students aren't taking the necessary time to actually utilize the program effectively. In one of our last meetings, it was mentioned that colleges and universities were not giving comprehensive exams any longer. That may be true for some of the general course requirements that may have final projects. However, it is important to note that colleges have not totally abandoned the comprehensive exam, and that their final exam does have a substantial determination upon the final grade, which most of our dual credit courses that we offer here in Harrison County Schools still maintain. As a matter of fact, most post-secondary students regularly take 3-hour exams in college courses. In addition, our children who go on to trade schools will even rely on standards and exams as like CDL licenses, electricians, HVAC, welding. In fact, an individual's licensure will depend solely on the success or failure of that one comprehensive exam. In addition to downplaying comprehensive semester exams, we are inadvertently transferring this attitude toward our state assessments. By not placing value on our exams, we are not preparing our students for their future. We are not teaching them how to recall information, how to study, how to take an exam, nor how to handle test anxiety. We are doing ourselves a grave disservice and our students if we do not support a meaningful and measurable comprehensive exam. Why do I feel that this is important? It's because education for all students should be our #1 priority. We must promote and ensure that our students master specific content material, that they can mentally and emotionally handle multiple situations, including testing, and have the tools necessary to compete in our global economy. To make this happen, Harrison County Schools must be diligent in addressing student learning and academic success. As a former educator and administrator and a current member of this board, it is my responsibility and duty to this community and our school system to recognize, address, restore, and improve our school system to the best of our abilities. We must hold our students to a higher standard and make them responsible and accountable for learning. It is time for this county to raise the bar, and in doing so, one small step is to begin by raising the standards of our grading policy. Therefore, if I'm allowed to, but I'm going to anyway, I am requesting that the Superintendent Stutler seriously consider directing Ms. Leesburg to reconvene the policy committee to review and make changes to the grading policy that will establish higher expectations and raise academic achievement. If the committee feels that they have done their due diligence, then I would like for Superintendent Stutler to consider directing Mr. DeRico or taking on the challenge yourself to work independently with our secondary administrators in developing a grading policy that will establish higher expectations and raise academic achievement in Harrison County Schools. Thank you for your time and attention this evening.
Mr. Hope.
On my turn. A couple things. One, I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis, they say that the counties put too much emphasis on athletics. But if you had the opportunity to go to Charleston during this past week and watch all the counties that come in there with their basketball programs, whether there was one and done or made the semifinals or the finals and won a state championship. I mean, it was amazing the number of people from all generations. I mean, some of the towns, somebody had to turn the lights out when they left because everybody was there. And it did so much, you could tell, for the kids to have the support of their entire community and communities around them to come and support them at the state basketball tournament. And, having been a former coach and had that experience, I know what the feeling was like. And if you heard the kids talking about how much they appreciated everybody coming, it does say that athletics are very important and an intricate part of kids growing up and, getting an education and participating in sports. And it was just nice to be there and watch it. And another thing, there was a young man, and I can't remember his first name, you probably can remember it for me, Matt D'Amato's son, his youngest boy.
Quinn.
Well, okay. He was given a Greg Reed Award. Greg Reed was one of the SSAC administrators who, at 55 years old, suddenly passed away, had a heart attack and passed away, and they established a scholarship in his honor. And the first Greg Reed scholarship went to Quinn. Is it Quinn?
Quinn.
Okay, Quinn. Quinn D'Amato, and it was a $500 scholarship. And I was shocked when they said Quinn's grade point average was 4.6 something. I mean, it was off chart. I don't know how he got a 4.6. I know I used to get 1.5s, but I don't know how he got a 4.6. But I think however he got it, you know, hats off to him and to his parents and, you know, the hard work they put in and the honor they got for receiving this scholarship. And it's going to be something they give every year through the athletics. And, you know, this young man, I don't think was a football player. He wasn't a basketball player or whatever, but, you know, he was one of the football players at Bridgeport High School. And I think he said he also was a wrestler and all. So they participate. So to participate in athletics, do what he did academically, I mean, to me was really.
He also had a supporting role in the senior play.
Yeah, okay. Could very well. I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, and all it, and I couldn't, you know, but I thought that was a tremendous honor. And Harrison County, once again, he was in the forefront of something like that. And so, anyway, that's all I have.
I agree with Board Member Francis. Mary Francis, I would like to see that committee reconvened and looked at again. I think that would probably be important to revisit, and that's all that I have.
But if they do come back to that and the committee stays where they at, or they feel that much about what they've done and, you know, where they've set the limits and all, I don't understand why if you don't get the answer you want here, let's push it here. If you get the answer there, keep it, you know, eventually, maybe Joe Biden will make the final decision.
Well, we also made some changes to the calendar committee. So it would be, is that not appropriate that we make changes to other committee?
No, it's absolutely
okay.
appropriate
That's
to
what
make
I thought.
suggestions.
I mean, if
Yes,
we could make
yes,
changes to the
we're
calendar
deciding
committee.
board. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, what she's saying is not unreasonable. You know, and I was on the fence about it when we had this first meeting. And the reason I'm coming around to her perspective is because I've spoken with my daughter a couple times about this, and she is an anxious test taker. She is, has an IEP, and I'm sorry, a 504. There are certain things that she feels would hurt her in an exam, but if the math is correct, she feels, and I feel, that it wouldn't hurt her grade, then it's not going to make an overall difference in dropping a letter grade. And I'll tell you, she's got a 3.75 GPA at Bridgeport High School, and I'm over the moon with that for her, right? And I think that if you can give the kids a path to succeed in another way, if it helps them, right? And we're doing what we can to help them, then if by giving them 25% on a final exam bumps their grade up, if they really ace it and they do a good job with it, we should give them that opportunity to get that grade. That is my opinion.
Then I think the exams that are given should be more difficult. In other words, a lot of times the exams given are basic exams, you know, that, you know, kids are built for them to be able to take it and pass it and, you know, make whatever grade. If you're going to give them a test where they can make 25% more boost, then you can have exam A or exam 1A. And 1A is the one that, you know, is a little harder, and they choose to take that and pass it and do well. Then they get the bump so that you're speaking of. But if it's a kid that, you know, has anxiety over taking exams and it bothers them, well, I'd rather just take the regular exam, you know, the material that I've learned.
Well, usually a comprehensive exam is just that. It's the whole course in one exam. So in itself, the fact that the multitude of material makes it a more difficult exam as a comprehensive exam with the final product at the end. And as far as test anxiety, the more you take a test, the less anxious you are at taking the test. Like
But even to that point, all right, the anxiety, and again, we need to give our students the success that they deserve, give them the opportunity to succeed. But there's going to be anxiety in everything that they do in the rest of their lives.
Yes.
All right, it's going to happen. I'm anxious every morning I get up and go to work. All right, it's going to be there. It's going to happen.
You only get out of bed and go to your computer downstairs.
Well, I'm anxious when I come here and talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I'm just saying, there's anxiety. There's anxiety everywhere you look. You give people the opportunity to succeed and allow them the path to success, and they will surprise you and they will do what they can to reach that success. Yeah, I agree with that.
I have an 11-year-old grandson, and he has a lot of anxiety over any test or work that he's doing, because he wants to make the very best grade that he can. And Grandpa says, hey, you've studied, you've done this, you do the best you can do, and, go from there.
Or go with that option that we talked about before that we used, was that if a student came in, and it was 25%, if they came in and didn't do well on it, and they weren't required to take it, then it didn't count. But if it helped them, they've made the effort to come in and do what they needed to
I
do.
believe that was in a previous policy prior to all take all, I believe. It
Well, that was our
actually in
policy.
there. Well, I
don't
think,
know.
I think we did the same thing there at one point.
My daughter's terrified tomorrow. She's terrified about tomorrow. She's got to go and take the PSAT. She's sitting at home before I left, running through that manual, running through that test guide, and poor thing is just nervous as all get out.
Well, you just remember, she can take it again.
No, I'm just giving you an example as to
saying.
the anxiety.
But the
Right.
thing I would say, because I'm the one that held off, and, we put together committees and they decide, and then if we then overturn all of that, then no one's going to want to be in the committee. I understand that. But given the fact of a compromise here where you're saying bring them back, I'm in favor that if what Mr. Tucker says is presented to them, which it may not have been presented to them as an original option. If given that, because you're right, you have the option, you didn't, and then you don't do that. I don't know if that was presented to the committee at all, but if you're going, I don't think you bring back a committee and tell them to make another decision based on the exact same parameter they worked under on their first time. Because they're going to say, well, that's what we did. So if you're going to bring them back, that's fine, but there needs to be a lot more things on the table that they have. Do you agree with that?
I
Yes.
understand, yes.
Because if you bring it back and say, we don't like your decision, you need to give us another decision that matches ours, then no one on that committee is going to do that. They're going to say our decision stands.
Well,
But if you
especially
bring them
without
back and
any
say,
new
We're
information.
going to open this up and we have other options to look at, then I'm fine with that because I think that works.
I think the three statements that actually came out was one, colleges don't give comprehensive exams anymore. That's false. The second is the exam grade at 25%, a student's going to fail. That's false. The test anxiety, as you said, it happens everywhere. We're all anxious about all kinds of things. We have to learn how to handle it and how to overcome that. The main thing being that I'd like to focus on also is those 3 6-week grading periods. Okay, it's the 3 6 weeks grading periods that are actually causing the students to fail, not the exam grade. So what is it that our schools are doing, okay, to assist those students so that they're not failing before they get to the exam, which is another issue or a topic for a later discussion. But that's where the actual failing happens. It's those 3 6 weeks grading periods, not the exam grade. So if they can come up with another reason, okay, and a substantial one, okay, that where we're not taking 25% comprehensive exams, I'll go for it. But those three can't be the reasons why we're not doing exams. It just can't be. There, 2 of them are false, and 1 of them we have to live with. So.
I don't have any further comments.
I don't either. I have nothing. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Move second. We had 4.
Yeah, no, everybody's like, let's get out of here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
What day are we on the agenda?